going, dang, then you're not appreciating the information.
What site is it?
This is hippodirect.com. Okay? Hippo Direct. There you go. Now you got mailing list. Now, let's add it up. You got website, you got brochures, you got newsletters, you got business cards. You see how you're getting everything? Okay? I'm building you up slowly here. Now, trade show tips. By the way, trade shows are fantastic for new leads. How many of us have been to trade shows again? Right? Pick up great leads, you meet the people you want to talk to. Now, there's a great resource called TSNN. How many know of TSNN? 1, 2 people. Again, you can go in there and find by city, by state, or by region, all the trade shows that are going on in your market niche. In your market niche. So let's say you want to find out what seminars are coming to Miami that have to do with the apparel industry for the next 3 months. You go to tsnn.com, it'll spit it right at you. Okay? How's that? All right? By the way, booth displays, I was an idiot. I bought a new booth when I first started doing trade shows. Okay? I spent over $5,000 on a booth. Let's not do that. Okay? And if you feel bad for me, again, I'm making a collection. Where do you get them? Go to eBay. Buy the booth display, what I call the general booth display, the actual physical booth display, and then buy the graphics from an actual designer, locally, okay? You get it? Because what will happen is I spend $5,000 on an 8.5 by 10 booth, and then the graphics on top were another $1,000 or something, and then I discovered that eBay actually sells these booths. A lot of them are just reused or used, but they're still in excellent condition. Don't spend a lot of money. If you've never thought of going to a trade show to collect leads, you're missing out. You are missing out. So, you know, when you look at selling, you know, everything from funeral urns to, you know, vases, you know, try going to some of these trade shows. And by the way, they're not that expensive. Every time I go to a trade show, I said, if I can get 1 or 2 leads, do I know what that value is to me? Let me ask you a question. If you know what you're selling and you know what your product offering is, you know how many leads you got to get, right? So you can figure out easy. By the way, how do you guys manage your contact list? I use ACT. How many use ACT? ACT, right? Or something similar. Goldmine is another one, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah. No? What it is, if you don't know, you need to know. This is ACT. Guess where I got this? No, Staples. But what it is, it's expensive. I believe it's like $300. No, it's not that much. How much is it? $195. Okay, $195. By the way, do not buy these on eBay. Okay? What they do is they resell them with the different licenses, but it's only one license with different code keys, okay? It's illegal. Spend the $200. One of the best investments you'll make. What it is that you'll be able to just file all your database into this. What I also like about it, it reminds me of my schedule. How many of us forget about our schedule, right? If you got a lot of things going on, you can also blast out your email. So you can actually, if you have the right software, let's say you're using Constant Contact, I don't know if that'll do it, but I know mine does. I can actually import all my emails into here, and so I can manage all my blasts from here. So I can do word processing, send out emails, send out newsletter. How many of us look Outlook? Outlook, you know, to match it. This ties into Outlook. If you have a PDA that has like Outlook, you can also download your information here. This is like the heart of the business, at least in my book.
So Outlook is not good enough?
No, Outlook by itself is okay, but I'm saying this does much more because it also has sales tools in the back. You can track sales, you can do sales funnels. By sales funnels, I mean, you know, non-qualified all the way to bought. You can also put notes. It really just do a lot of things. Yes? Was there a question? Oh, I thought you said something. I'm sorry. But anyway, dedupe? Can I don't know. I don't know. But, by the way, have you ever seen it? ACT? No. Let me just show it to you. Okay, let me just show it. I'm not going to show you how to use it. I can't. How long does it take to learn? It depends. You see how you use it? It's all timing. You got to use it at the right time. Okay, this is ACT. But by the way, if you're running a business and you're not managing your contacts or your schedules right, invest in this software. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong. This is like a no-brainer for me. And so I use this to manage my schedules and everything. Goes with me everywhere. Takes forever to load up, though. But I'm just going to show you the front screen so you get an idea of what it is. Okay? No, you'll see a few of them. You know how you can create multiple databases? So I created a smaller one for you. So, yeah. So, hold on, Eric. Like I said, I just want to show it real quickly, and then we're off. But so when people see it, but right now it becomes very difficult, especially if your schedule starts getting busy. By the way, this is perfect for meetings. You know how you set a schedule up a lot of meetings? And so this one only has 41. It's just, you got all your contacts. You got all the information. You see that? On the bottom, though, this is what I like. You see on the bottom, because you can actually get into opportunities. Tells you when there's a new update. It's annoying. But you can actually see down here, for some reason I'm not able to scroll. Well, anyway, down here you get history, activities, opportunities. In other words, I talked to this person one time. I think it's a $300 order. And then you can do a follow-up. By the way, you can program this with alarms. You know, so you can say, okay, remind me in about a week that I need to call this person. So if you do that often enough, every day you turn it on, you got this whole to-do list of all these alarms you got going off. And so it really helps you manage. Here's some of my calendar. Let's say for August, or, you know, this is my schedule. So, I was in Jackson, then I did 3 seminars in Miami last week, it was White Plains. That's a 6-figure seminar here. And then I'll be in Los Angeles doing 2 more seminars, blah, 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 blah. So I look at that and I print that out, and that's my schedule. So when people call me up, I immediately go to that.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there an automated way, what's the latest automated way to get information from a business card into this database?
You can use card scan. Yeah, I've never used it. People who use it like it, especially, and some don't. You know, it's a matter of opinion. It depends. But yeah, use card scan. Where can you get card scan? Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right, so finding a list. We talked about these 3 already. All right, trade shows. All I wanted to mention is this. Make sure you manage everything through ACT. And again, if you're doing these trade shows, get a lot of lists. I cannot tell you how much business I generated by doing trade shows. You know, and so once you figure...
Commission from Best Buy?
No commission. So now,
Maybe
by the way, when you do these trade shows, don't print up a lot of material. Have you ever done your first trade show and you overprinted too much material? Have you been there? For those of you that don't print up too much material because things will change. Have samples in your booth. By the way, for me as a speaker, what do I have in my booth? What do I have in my, besides books, what do I have? Video, right? Because that's all people want to see.
Yeah.
So what I did is I set up 3 computers, right? With my videos running, and they had headphones that they could just step up and go and listen. Okay? Okay, got it? If it's a service, then you got to find something to describe the service. I mean, it's a tough one. It's a good question.
Or you can do hands-on, like while you're there.
You can do hands-on, like polish nails or whatever you want to be. Yeah.
Last week I ran my PowerPoint presentation just on a screen on the side.
There you go. Yep, run your PowerPoint presentation. You can run it off your computer. Some people put a little screen in the middle and just shoot it right in there. Is that what you did? Like in the middle or off the side? Just on a computer? So, you can do a lot of things. Hey, just throwing it out there. By the way, let's talk about wasted material. And I just threw this in there. How many times have you heard something like this? Victor, we'd like to get a copy of your materials, but with your name, of course. Just send us your material and we review and get back to you. How many of us have heard that? You know? And then you go through all that trouble. This is why you need a website. Because I think the greatest line you can say is, go to my website. Yes. And I love that line. Go to my website. And so, the problem is the cost to mail, the time, mail delay, and so forth. And so what I did is I put the videos on my website. And I tell people, just go to my website. Can you mail us a DVD? No. Go to my website, because you're going to book me. Tell me if I'm wrong, but the majority of people who ask for information are always the least likely to book you or do business with you. Am I right? If they really want you, go to my website. And again, it just saves money. All right. By the way, if you have an electronic brochure, remember the Adobe program? Let me email it to you right now, and then we can go over the material. Because what happens when you wait a week? The opportunity's gone, right? And sometimes they can't even remember why they asked for it. So again, if you have a website, log on. I tell people, why don't you log on right now? I'll tell you which video to look at that might interest you. And it works. You don't spend money, you're just there. The immediacy principle is that it's now. If you're really serious about booking me, log on now. And if they say, I don't have a web, I'm not in front of a web page right now or whatever, internet access, all right, I'm going to send you the email, look at that, and then call me back. The majority of people, they're not going to look at it. And that's it. Serious buyers, they don't mind. Someone in the past says, well, Victor, you got to have all this press kit material and so forth. I don't know. If I'm a big corporation, you have to. But when you're a one-man shop, an entrepreneur with a small business, and you got a small budget, am I right? A lot of that stuff goes into the garbage if you don't use it. Design a postcard. I'm just going to show you what I use. and then it's a little case study. I mailed my website, and what I did was I used this software called 6bytes.com. See it? 6 bytes? That software right there. 6 bytes. Let me tell you what I love about that software if you have a website. What it does, it basically captures your whole website, and you can put it on a DVD or a CD. So when you send it to somebody, they can actually surf your whole website as if they were connected. So if somebody's on the plane and wants to look at your website and videos, they can just go. It's a way of packaging it up. I believe the price for that software is like 69 bucks. Don't hold me to it, okay? But it's a great one. So what I did is I had these printed because I wanted to try it to see if marketing with a CD worked. And so I had, silver, black print with the little, clear plastic, and then I mailed them by hand. I had a list already. I mailed them. The total cost for mailing, list, and everything was $2,400. Now, as a speaker, when I was starting out, I was charging $2,500. So what am I saying to myself? All I got to do is get what? One. To break even, right? Mm-hmm. So once I get one to break even, I'm good. That mailing alone, it's over $50,000. I stopped counting. Just on that mailing. I still get calls today. People still have that CD, DVD, and say, I want to book you. Except now, I don't charge $2,500. That did change. So, I want to talk to you about this because I think here's another thing we get into this. I discovered this about speaking. And in certain markets in speaking, all you have to do is have a sad story and you can be a speaker. Right? Got a sad story? You can be a speaker. And so what I found early on that if you do not create a barrier to entry, do you know what I mean by a barrier to entry? You create a market where it's harder for people to compete against you. For example, I realized that just being a speaker with a sad story wasn't going to cut it. Because everybody has a sad story in this room, right? Yes. You can find something. So people said, so the thing is, it was hard to differentiate myself. But then I said, well, let me just go to the corporate market, use my engineering degree and my MBA and my sales background. Do you think a lot of people are going to join me at that level? No. And so what happened, I got less competition, and what do you think happened to my price? It just went up. So my question to you is, don't market where everybody else is marketing. Find a way to differentiate yourself and then create a barrier to entry. In marketing, it simply means create a way that people just can't jump right into your market. For example, Microsoft is a perfect example of a company who has a high barrier to entry, right? If you wanted to compete with Microsoft tomorrow, would it be easy? No, right? They're in the market, deep penetration, blah, blah. I mean, you talk to Linux and some of these other guys will probably argue with you, but there's a high barrier to entry. In other words, find a market where there's not a lot of people doing what you do or have your expertise, okay? And that's the market you market to. So what I started doing is I started going after the high-tech market, right? Because I had an engineering degree, MBA, and I sold. So instead of just selling to the general market, I said, you know what? I'm going to sell into the high-tech market. Do high-tech companies have bigger budgets? Yeah, they do. And so I created a website specifically just for that market. Do you see what I mean? Here, I'll show you. Since we're showing and telling, I want you to get it. Because you saw the Victor Gonzalez site. That's kind of like the flagship site, it's just a general site. But if you come in here, and you should see hightechselling.com. How's that for a name? And so, right away, it's just for the high-tech market. This one, boom. All I want to talk to is same mug. You know what I mean? Same guy, same colors. But I'm addressing what? Look at this, market focus. Look who I'm talking to. Telcos, IP, service provider, manufacturer, cable TV. You see how I differentiated myself with this website? And say he's different. So now, I'm sorry for the screen, but you're not missing much. For some reason, I got this thing stretched out just so the presentation fit. You see what I mean? So it's really the same site, but it's really aimed, and these training programs I have are aimed specifically at the high-tech market. Again, I create a high barrier to entry so not a lot of people can compete with me. So I've just gone beyond the sad story into a market where few people can actually compete. Get it?
And that's a separate site from your other speaking website.
All those. Yeah, like I said, there's 22 sites, so that's one. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right, so you got that? Good. Yeah. All right, next. Remember we talked about cold calling? I'm going to show you how many people hate cold calling. Right? Scary, isn't it? Right? So in cold calling, you got to memorize the script, answers to objections, you know, define objective for the call, so forth and so on. So I'm going to show you a website, and I really want you to look at this website, because if you're here and you're trying to find more business, I'm about to show you where you find these manufacturers, right? Because if you want to go after companies, I'm going to show you how you find these manufacturers. I'm going to show you how to get a contact database for free. Okay? So no more of this, Victor, I don't have a list, I don't know who to contact or call. Are you thinking that? You have the product service, but you're thinking, I don't know who to call. I'll solve that for you right now. How many of you have seen or heard Thomas Net? Raise your hand. Okay, just look around. Only like 5 people. So again, this is the registry that people pay almost, I think, $700 to register. These are suppliers and manufacturers pay $700 to get on this list. What does that tell you? They want business. They got money and they want business. So if they're serious, they're dang serious. So what you do is, let's say that, give me something that you market to. Automation equipment. And what was yours?
Supplements.
Supplements. So let's go with, let me try automation. You got some more specific, certain market?
Manufacturing SCADA systems.
Okay, sure. I'll just put SCADA systems, okay? So, and let's see what we get for SCADA systems. So let's say that this is the company. It's got 141 companies registered in there, right? For SCADA systems, right?
HMI SCADA, second software.
Software? Okay, so 26 back. Let me back up. But let's say you sold a service. Could you also talk to these others? Probably.
That's my target niche.
And so there it is. So all of a sudden, look at this. You have the email, you got the company profile, and you got their website. Damn it, people. Stop paying for the contact list. I'm giving it to you for free. Yeah, that should be. You guys can't get excited about that. It's like, Roger, why'd you pull a rabbit out of my hat? I mean, come on. I mean, I just gave you a database for free where you can find anything in your market niche to get the contacts. And you're looking at me like, a golf applause. That's nice, Victor. Very nice, Victor. Very nice, very nice. As my mother would say, son mal agradecidos. Okay.
No, we are in shock.
Huh? You shy? Yes, again, I know. Oh, I'm sorry. You're still going through the damn. Oh, I understand then. This is free. So next time you're looking for something, as they say in Chicago, did a brother hook you up or what? I told you it'd be worth your time. I wouldn't waste your time today. So once you see that, you know who your market is. That's it. That's your calling list. Now, here's a test. Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. You see that information there? Yeah. Where am I going to store this information? Act. You put it in your database. Because as you're finding companies you like, you put it in your database, right? And you start building your database. And you run your company through ACT. Every week, every month, you send them something, whatever it may be. You get it? People go out and they go to Go Leads, this leads, that leads, whose leads, and they pay all this money. I gave you some options that you can go if you want the list right now. But here, I mean, when you talk about cold calling, it's got a description right there. All you got to do is memorize the script. And then just start calling. Get it?
Got it.
That should have been worth the price of admission right there. Because it's free. Okay. Take no love. What was yours? I'm sorry. What was yours?
Supplements.
Supplements. Let's just find out who supplements. I'm only going to do one. That's it. And then we'll just move on. Let's find out what type of supplements they have. So just, by the way, and again, did you notice that you can go by state on the left? So you got dietary, 155, nutritional, labeling. You know, there's a lot of people in here who sell a diet program, right? Yeah. Who exercise, you know, and they want their own, what? Pills to offer, brand, right? So what you can do, you contact this company. Do you know that they'll private label for you? Yeah. Do you know what private label is? Yeah. In other words, they don't care who you're selling it to. They will put your name on the bottle and you sell it like your product. Wow. And all of a sudden, do you look more professional? Yes. Absolutely. That's what they're doing. You know, so again, any of these companies you contact, find, by the way, the key term there, if you want that, is you got to ask them, do you private label? That's the key phrase. Do you private label? And if they private label, you're good. Okay?
Right there, coming down.
Is it? Contract manufacturing. There it is, right there. Way to go, Jack. Contract manufacturing. That's usually what it means. There's another phrase for it, contract manufacturing. In other words, they will contract with you to manufacture something for them. Okay? Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
That's awesome. By the way, for some of you who are saying, Victor, I want to import international stuff, can I present something to you? There's something called Alibaba.com. Alibaba.com is awesome from this perspective. Is that it's almost the same. Look at this. You got suppliers and buyers, right? You got your categories, right?
Yeah.
Suppliers and buyers, plenty. But let's say that you want to import something from China. Wheelchairs, you know, strollers, whatever it may be. Then what you do is you go in here, let's say apparel fashion. You click on that. Now, look at me, don't look at the screen, because I want you to see this. How many of you are thinking, Victor, I'm not creative, I don't have any good ideas? This is what you do. Get a cup of coffee, and then you stare at that little screen coming across. You see it? See that? Right there? You stare at this until something finally hits, okay? So if you're sitting there going, I'm not creative, Victor, I don't understand, then you just stare at the damn thing, right? It comes up, look, hey, 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 finger socks, hey, hey. By the way, what did I say earlier? There are thousands of niche markets out there, am I right? So now you got a website, why don't you sell your products on the website? Get it? Got it. Good. By the way, oh, can I show you something really cool about this? Another cool thing about this? It shows you the tire, right? Now pay attention, because this is the cool part that Thomas Net doesn't have. You ready? Watch, let me go over here. It allows you, let's say you like that, you want to put it on your website, right? You want to resell that? You go click, click, add it to your basket. You're not buying it. You go click, click, add everything that you like to your basket, and when you hit contact now, you can actually blast out an email to everybody. So for example, what are the 2 questions we're going to ask?
Do you private label?
No. The 2 questions, this is a drop ship, but what did I say? The first one is, do you sell wholesale?
Wholesale.
And then do you drop ship, right?
Yes, yes.
You just send one email to everybody that you like and see who responds. Okay. All right. You know, I'm saying I drove down all the way from Atlanta to give you this free information. All right. By the way, you want to be successful at cold calling? It's all about understanding the other person on the other end, right? Yeah. But our problem is we try to be too slick sometimes, right? We try to be too clever. Now, one thing I've always believed, when I do cold calling, I only want one thing. What do you think I want? Yes, the appointment. That's the only thing I want. I don't want to send you literature. I don't want to say hi to your family. I don't care. I just want the appointment. That's all I care about. And when you do cold calling, don't let people say, well, send me your literature. I said, I can do that, and I'll send that via email, but how does Tuesday look because da-da-da, right? We want the appointment. That's what we want. And so I always say when you're doing cold calling, remember, there's a difference between sympathy and empathy, right? Sympathy and empathy. You know what the difference is? Okay, I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to give you a graphical example that you'll never forget. Ready? Okay. You're walking on the deck of the boat, some cruise ship, right? And you see somebody throwing up over the banister, right? And you say, damn, that must hurt. Okay? That's sympathy. Now, if you went over there and threw up with them, that's empathy. There you go. You'll never forget that again. All right. By the way, let me tell you why most people fail. You can't read this, so I'll read this for the folks in the back. So it's 8 or 9 a.m., you arrive at work. This is called cold call reluctant. You decide to go get a cup of coffee and talk to your colleagues about the family and what happened last night in the news. Around 9 to 10 o'clock after your conversation done, you check some email and maybe click on a few internet links, read a few jokes and so forth and so on. Woo! Right? Then you're like, okay, 11 o'clock, you start sorting your leads and decide what you're going to call on today. By the time you're done, it's almost lunch. You said, well, let's wait till after lunch. Right? So you wait till after lunch. Lunchtime comes back and you think to yourself, people are just getting back from lunch, so I'll wait a while. Right? Are you getting it? Because that's what we do, don't we? Everything not to make the phone call, right? And then 2 to 3, I had to run an errand or attend an important impromptu meeting. I'll start calling as soon as I get out of the meeting. 3 o'clock, I finally made a few phone calls. I got several voicemails, maybe because it's busy time for the day, so maybe I'll wait till later, a little longer. So 4 or 5 rolls around, you say, well, let me wrap up before the day leaves. The rest of the calls can wait till tomorrow. Wow, what a long and productive day I had today. It's exactly what most of you do who are in sales, right? Everything not to get on that phone. Now, answer that question above.
Absolutely.
Does a call have value? No. Wait.
It depends.
No, 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 no. Ah.
If you get the appointment, yes.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Hey, just wait. Now, if somebody you call and nobody answers, does that call have a value? No. Does the call have a value? All right, let's say you made 100 calls but only closed 3 deals. Would that motivate you?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it depends on the size of the deal. That's the time to use it. See, you're using it depends inappropriately. Okay? If I told you I'd pay you $100 per call, would you be motivated? Right now, let's just say I said to you, look, every time you pick up the phone call, made a call, whether you got somebody or not, I'm going to pay you $100. How often would you call? Every day. By the way, would you have problem with that cold call reluctance? No. Would you have time to go get some milk or cookies? No. Right? Yeah, you wouldn't even want to go to meetings, right? Like, oh, leave me alone. I'm earning you $100, right? You say no. Damn. Right? You wouldn't go anywhere, right? You stay there, right? Why is it if I pay you $100 to make a phone call, all of a sudden it's like, da-da-da-da, I don't have call reluctance anymore, right? Why? Because you're getting paid, right? And you can see $100, you're like, and you're like trying to get every $100 you can, right? It's like dialing for dollars, right? All right, so you did 100 cold calls, 15 appointments, 3 successful sales. The average sale was $15,000. Your total sale was $15,000. Can you see that? Okay, so what is your sales per call was what? $150. Do you see the value of a phone call? Made 100 phone calls, only got 3 deals. You got $15,000 out of the deal, but on average, each call was worth $150 to you. Did your brain just shift a little bit? Because I'm trying to get you to look at cold calling that way. That even if nobody answers, there's a value to that call. Because the law of averages has to kick in, right? Eventually, somebody has to. Now, some of you have heard my nightclub story, right? Who heard my nightclub story? A couple people? All right, real quick. I had one of those nights. Fellas, raise your hand if you're with me. One of those nights you go to a club, you're dancing, or you're trying to dance, and every girl says no. Raise your hand. Oh, yeah. Okay, ladies, the 3 guys that raise their hands, those are the only honest guys in the room. The rest are lying, okay? I had one of those nights. I had one of those nights that no matter who I asked, they said no. So I said to myself, I'm going to keep asking till one of them says yes. I did. 14. The 14th one finally said yes, right? 14th one, don't laugh. That was painful that night. Yeah, she's laughing at my pain. So 14th one finally said yes, and you know what happens, right? You get out there, they change the song, you got to start the mission all over again. And now what I learned that night, I want you to remember. What I want you to remember is this, that night I learned that women have 3 ways of saying no, right? Let me categorize them for you. I put them into 3 DEFCON levels for you. Okay? DEFCON level 1. You walk up to them, you say, would you like to dance? They go, no, no thank you, not right now, not my song, just sipping with my girlfriends, right? And that's kind of cool, I can live with that, right? DEFCON level 2, right? You go up to them, you ask them to dance, and they kind of, no. Right here. That's DEFCON level 2, right? Now the 3rd one is that you walk up, you ask them about a dance, and they do this. Yeah, right? Right? Women are going, yeah, I'm 3. I do 3 a lot. So now, because this is what I want you, thank you for the sympathy, I appreciate it. But anyways, too late. So, I'm already emotionally scarred. Hey, here's my point. Here's my point. When you're doing cold calls, I want you to remember this. You're always going to get nice no's, not so nice no's, and very rude no's. Yeah. But should that stop you? No. You're with me. Okay. I'm sharing. Okay, making the sale. Did you know? Did you ever wonder how many phone calls it takes to make a sale? 2% of the sales are made on the first call. 3% of the sales are made on the second call. 5% of the sales are made on the third call. 10% are made on the 4th call. Look at this. 80% of all sales are made after the 5th phone call. Damn, 5.
What's the source of those stats?
What's the source of those stats? You know, all I ask is people be patient. I'm going somewhere. I'm on a train right here. Just enjoy. Look out the window once in a while. Just let me finish. Just for that, I'm erasing the source. All right, you got that? Good. I'll come back to it. I gotta go. I'll give it to you later. Now, look at this. if 80% of all new sales calls are made on the 5th phone call, did you know 48% quit on the 1st phone call, 25 quit on the 2nd, 12 quit on the 3rd, 5% quit after the 4th, and only 10% keep calling. You wonder why you're not making a lot of money? Because you're probably stopping after 1 or 2, am I right? Right? That's why you're not making a lot of money in sales. Okay? Because you're stopping. And sometimes you don't even get somebody on the phone call. You realize that, leave the voicemail. Always leave the voicemail. Okay? By the way, there's your source. National Sales Executive Association. I would never put numbers up there that had a source. Thought you knew me by now. I thought we'd established a bond of confidence. Apparently not. Okay. All right, good. All right. I'm going to give you a case study because we're going to talk about 6 figures. I'm cruising, man. We're going to make this lunchtime. All right? You guys with me so far? Yeah. Okay. All right. By the way, this is why my wife lets me leave. She's like, dude, take your energy elsewhere. It's killing me here. So, somebody got the subtlety of that? Good. All right. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to set up a scenario. Now, at this point, would you agree with me, if you're so kind, would you agree with me that I've given you almost every tool you need to be successful?
Yes.
Am I right? Yeah. We talked about, just all the little tools you need, right?
Yes.
There should be no reason why you walk out this door saying, I can't do this, I can't do that. I've given you contacts, I've given you lists, tools, software, everything. At this point, that little voice should just shut up and say, now how do we make money? Okay? Because now we get into the 6-figure part. But I couldn't show you this until you begin to understand all the other things before that. I showed you about product creation, so forth and so on. Okay? Now, let's talk about making money. Now, here's an example of a lady. This is a lady, and I have multiple scenarios here. Don't draw conclusions before you go through it. This is her career goals. It's an example of a lady. I'll tell you who it is later. She likes dancing. She wants to be a dancer. She wants to be a writer. Wants to have community involvement, right? Likes film. Wants to be involved with film. Art. Raise your hand if you can identify with this lady. Right? Yeah, right? I mean, that's kind of a cool gig, right? If I can find that. If I can find that, that'd be great. Now, be honest. As a non-professional dancer, as a non-professional filmmaker, just looking at face value, does that look like that's going to make a lot of money? No. You're probably thinking, there's no way. Right? Right. Now, personal inventory. So the lady takes personal inventory of what she's good at. Okay? Good at dancing, obviously. Good writer. Again, master of the obvious. Great people skills, got to have it. Very creative. To be a dancer, so forth, you would have to be, right? Love working on computers. Love working on computers. Okay? And very well organized. That's where she lost me. Okay? So now again, what I'm trying to set up is this. Here's a person who has some personal goals. She takes personal inventory, and this is what she says, these are the things I'm good at. Okay, have you ever done that to yourself? This is what I like to do, but these are the things I'm good at. Because what I'm going to try to help you now is to bridge what you like to do, what you're good at, do this, and make 6 figures, okay? She's goal oriented. Good.
I know what you can do.
Okay. Okay. Now, I want you to look at this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force her to go through what I call the funnel. Going into the funnel. And so she's writer, dancer, community, film, I said pick your top 3. I won't go into the analysis of how we did this, okay? But it's all mapped out, charts and everything. And we got down to 3, then you got down to 1, the dancer, okay? So that's it. She's a dancer. She still has all these resources, but she's a dancer, okay? Now what we have to do is figure out how you can make, as a non-professional dancer, 6 figures, okay? Legitimately, of course.
It depends.
It's legal.
Come on, people.
For those of you on the DVD, you don't want to know. All right, so what do you think? Seriously, do you think you can combine these skill sets legitimately to have the ideal career?
Absolutely.
Is it possible to make lots of money dancing and helping out the community legitimately?
Yes. Yes.
And here's my final question. Over $100,000, could you do it? Could you put all these things together? Do it. Absolutely. I'm going to show you how she did it, okay?
Okay.
Here's the revenue model. First thing she wanted to do, and I'm going to tell you who this is, because I know you want the source. Okay? All right, so this is what she started out doing. She started having 1-hour classes every weekend, and she signed up students at $25. Now, how many of us here are parents? Parents, right? Now, if somebody's going to take your kid for an hour, would you pay it? I would. I love my kids, but you can have them for $25. So, for an hour. So, now, what she did was, so if she's got 20 students at $25 for 1 hour, she's making $500 for that hour. Is that a good rate? Yeah. Absolutely. It's something she loves. It's not work, is it? Then she decides to add 4 classes, one every other hour, right? 4 classes on one weekend on Saturday. Run the numbers. $2,000 for that Saturday. Now, could she add classes on Friday, Saturday during the week? Absolutely, right? You get the idea?
Yeah.
4 days a month, she's making $8,000. See where this is going?
Yeah.
Okay? It's all about how you apply the model to your business. How do you take your talent and how do you monetize the talent to make money? So now, she sells clothing. You know what she did? She had all these clothes, like she had these overalls, and it had the company's name and everything. It was really cool. You know, just a dance troupe. And what happens with kids today? If one has it, everybody wants it. So now she's selling the clothing as well. So then she says, you know, a lot of kids are going home and they're still not getting the dance moves, right? So what does she create? She videos herself, and she does the whole video thing, and then she turns around and sells the DVDs back to her students. And if they sign up for 3 months, the DVDs are free. Get the idea? It generates about $1,000 a month. Ching, ching, ching. You're starting to add up the numbers here? Okay? And then, because you got to do this, every 3 months or so, what does she have? A talent show. Because all the proud parents want to go see where their money was invested, right? And she's not going to sell the parents anything, but she's going to record the DVD, and guess what? Parents are going to buy the DVD every 3 months, right? Or whatever may come, and sign up for another 3 months, right? You see the numbers, how they're rolling yet? You getting it? So now, that's what she's creating. That's the exit funnel. And this is what I want you to start paying attention to. When you define that you're a dancer, when you come out the exit funnel, you start creating product. Clothing, classes, and video. Then she created like the music, it should have been video, clothing, classes. You see what I mean? She's creating revenue streams. Am I right?
Yes.
So what she's doing, here's her annual revenue stream. If we add those, if we believe those numbers, that's what she's making. If we believe those numbers, that's what she's making. Does that sound reasonable so far? Now, let's walk through this. You can't say, we know where to find clothing if we wanted to find a supplier today, right?
Yeah.
Thomas Net, Alibaba. I showed you that, right? Okay. Classes you could do, just rent out any place for about an hour, right? So you can do that. Videos, we talked about that, right? Video it, put it on a DVD, easy to do. You go to Discmasters or something else. Events, one of these, whatever it may be. Do you believe these numbers? In other words, in your mind, does that make sense? Right. So now, here's a lady. She has a company. It's called hiphopkids.net. Okay? Here's your source. Susie Stone, Florida-based. Stone now employs 3 people full-time, as well as 12 part-time dance instructors. Revenues exceed $300,000 per year. Okay? Oh, it doesn't stop there. The figure doesn't include the 10% she takes from growing the side business as a manager. Okay? Here's the killer part. She decided to franchise. Franchise. Can you say the word franchise? Because that's what she did. It's a system, right? And so what she did is she packaged it up, and she now franchises the system. If you wanted to set up hiphopkids.net in your state, you would buy the franchise from her, right? $30,000 to $50,000 is the average franchise. So if you wanted to set up, she'd give you the whole system. She'd train you, do everything. $30,000 to $50,000 is average for a franchise. If she gets 1 franchise a month, can you run those numbers in your head? This was written in 2000. She's well over $1 million now. Now think about that. A dancer, a non-professional dancer who took a simple concept and expanded it into what? Multiple streams of income, right? So she took that, she took her personal goals, right? You know, she used those skills. Look, this is what I'm trying to get to. There's things that you're good at. Just take those skills, find the angle of how to generate the revenue. There's so many creative ways to make money that your job isn't if there's a way. The if shouldn't be there. There is a way. You just have to figure it out. That's all you have to do, is figure the model out. And I'm showing you this so you can get it. Get it? Good. Now, if you look at the whole thing, there it is, the double funnel. Right? You come in with all your ideas of what you want to do. You narrow it down to what? One. Didn't I say we all about one market niche? Within that market niche, what do? We create other products that we can sell. Right? Before this day, you probably thought a dancer, legitimate dancer, couldn't make a lot of money. But now you see that somebody can make multiple products within that market segment. So what I'm asking you is to think, what can I do to create multiple streams of income? So that's what we want to create, no? You got videos, you got classes, you got that, multiple streams of income. Do you like the double funnel? Raise your hand.
Love it.
Great. Can use it. Registered. Book release. ISBN. And the website is registered also. Trademark. So, all of a sudden, this I think is great because if you apply this method to everything, you begin to understand how you can generate. So when you sit down, put yourself through the double funnel. Pick one thing that you're good at, that you like, that kind of combines everything you like. Now, remember, she didn't have all the things she liked in that job, but she had a lot of them, right? She was doing a lot of things. Because you tell people, what are you good at? They go, I'm good at a lot of things, right? But if you can take as many as you can and apply it into a job, wouldn't that be an ideal situation where you can using it? But here's somebody who took her passion and created a six-figure income. And so again, I'm trying to break that mental block you have that you believe that I have to have an original product or something unusual. Something as simple as being in the community doing that, she's generating six figures. The franchise thing was genius. Because all of a sudden, can you create something where you can turn around and do your own franchise? Can you?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay. All right, so what we want to do is what? Monetize our expertise. You make money off what you know. You make money off what you know. All right, so I got to wrap up here. By the way, can a teacher make six figures? Let's do it real quick. Person is not afraid to speak in front of an audience. By the way, if I asked you right now to write me an article, 700 to 800 words a month, could you do it?
Absolutely.
Just one article a month?
Absolutely.
Give me a big yes.
Yes.
All right, good. Now, teacher salary is about $36,000, and I know it depends on what state. That's just an average. Let me ask you a question. After 12 months, with 12 articles, what do I have? A what? A book, right?
Yes.
Does a book position me as an expert?
Yes.
You're with me? All right, let's do that. Let's say her first year's salary is $3,000. She can make $36,000, right? That's $3,000 a month, $36,000 a year. With me so far? Yes. Let's say she gets one speaking engagement. Somebody wants to hear her talk about how she colors inside the lines. Okay? Something like that. How do you do it? What techniques do you use? Well, I use the Bayesian technique, which allows me, whatever it is. So, one speaking engagement a month is what? $18,000. She sells $200 worth of books. Let's say they're like $10 a pop. She only sells 20, $200. It's not ridiculous, am I right? It's not ridiculous. I'm being reasonable. $56,000. So now she starts speaking twice a month. You double the numbers, right? Oh, by the way, you see this one here? I gave her a raise. Because that's what teachers get, a raise, a $1 raise. Talk about an underappreciated resources, there it is. So now, do you see that? Now she speaks twice a month, she gets $3,000, sells twice as many books, you have $76,000. I don't need to go any further, right?
801.
Right? So, yeah, $76,801. So you see, if I do this one more time, can she start making more money? Yes. Can she hit her six figures?
Yes.
By the way, what happens about right here? She's almost making the same as here, right? Bye-bye. You know, you have the option. Isn't that what we want? Now, you can sell books, videos, DVDs, do seminars. We talked about this, right? You all with me on that? Good.
Yes.
Now, somebody asked me, Victor, what'd you do in the speaking business? Started speaking. Here's my graph. See, I just couldn't give you a number. I gave you a business chart. Because I'm scared of those suits in the back right there. They're looking at me like, dude, put a graph up there. Because I'm getting, these. So that's what it looks like. My first year did about 50,000, 97, surpassed 125 just speaking. Okay? And that's because I was only making $2,500. When I first started, remember, what did everybody do when I first started doing this? They laughed. They laughed, right? When I told my mother I wanted to speak, what did they do? They laughed. Then when I told my mother, look, I'm getting $2,500 per speech for an hour, they're like, damn. Right? And by the way, I'm going to tell you something. You get a lot more friends when you start making money. Because all of a sudden they start calling you up, hey, Vic, how's it going? I said, what the hell is this? It's one of those, haven't talked to you in a while. I said, no, man, just call to see how you're doing. I said, I'm doing well. Heard you're doing well in the speaking business. Oh, Oh, I know why you're calling. Wants the information, doesn't he, right? And then he's like, no, Vic, I believed in you from day one. I didn't show it, but I believed in you. I was in here, man. I knew you were going to do it. And you know what I did? Well, I'll tell you what I did later. But anyway, so, see, let me tell you what I did. And what I did was, I created, by the way, these are going to be available in the back if you want to buy one. I created a How to Make $100,000 in the College Market DVD audio program. And let them buy it, right? I created another program called Speak and Grow Richer Through Internet Marketing. How, as a speaker, you can make 6 figures, right? And by the way, after lunch, I'm going to show you how I generate leads through the internet. And I'll show you what it generates me, and I'll show you tangible information. Because with that information, I got